Okay, so this is another recording. Actually, this is the only recording I'm kind of doing so far. One time I was about to, make a video about, um, my personal opinions of how I feel about comedy sketch shows. Especially like for me, when it came to like comedy stuff, I was always a huge fan of Mad TV. Like I never, excuse me. I never was a huge, fan of Saturday Night Live that much. Saturday Night Live wasn't really all that funny in my opinion, though. It just never really made me laugh. Like the only time that the only time that I ever thought of Saturday Night Live being funny is when Eddie Murphy was on there. Because to me, that was back when he was still a huge successful star. I mean, he was starring in a lot of great classic movies. He was so, unique on Saturday Night Live. He did a lot of funny sketches on that show. So to me, that was the only time Saturday Night Live, in my opinion, was funny. But even like the first season, though, back in 1975, when it first started out, because it's been almost, 51 or almost 52 years since that show started back. It just really wasn't all that funny. Like that first season to me wasn't really all that funny. Like a lot of those guys, like John Belushi or like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and I forget some of the other first members of the cast was on that show, but they really weren't all that funny. But when they brought in Eddie, that's to me like that was the only time it really was hilarious is when Eddie Murphy was on it. Other than that, it really wasn't my cup of tea though. But Mad TV, it killed me with laughter. And there were other good ones that were kind of funny like that, like Blue Collar TV and then In Living Color back in the 90s, though, around the same time when Mad TV started. But that Mad TV was funny. I don't care what a lot of people say, it was funny. The whole cast was funny, like whoever was on it, like Ari Spears, Will Sasso, Bobby Lee, Michael McDonald, Nicole Sullivan, Mo Collins, Mary Shear, Deborah Wilson. Well, it used to be Orlando Jones was on it, but he was only on the first two seasons, which it was okay. It was still a good season, still a good show when by the time he was replaced or he left the show. And then you have Phil Lamar was on it. Alex Alex Bornstein from Family Guy was on that show too. Mo Collins, I think I already said her name though. There was just lot of people on that show, and they were insane. The stuff they did on Mad TV was insane. It was so funny, but it was ridiculous funny. It was like funny to me, like you can laugh so hard. I, I just didn't feel the same with Saturday Night Live, even after all these years, including like how Saturday Night Live is still going on and it's almost close to a final season. It's not that funny. It's just a corny sketch show that was very popular to the general audience. But it just didn't make me laugh that much. But Mad TV was killer. It killed me with comedy. It was funny. And they made fun of everything on Mad TV though. Saturday Night Live tried to do that, but it just wasn't, it was like forced upon kind of funny. You know, kind of like when some people like a certain TV show compared to like some people who love like the popular TV shows. Excuse me. It's kind of like that though, basically. So for me, I would always love Mad TV, no matter what people say. That cast was killer. Even like back when Key and Peele were on that show, they actually did some funny moments that were kind of funny, like when Key was like Coach Hines and Peele will do like some ridiculous sketch. Um, One time, even Key and Peele did like, or Key did like, when he was on Mad TV, he did like a Sesame Street sketch, so they were poking fun of Sesame Street and stuff like that. And he was supposed to be, um, I can't remember the black man's name, but basically he was the like back when Sesame Street started back in 1968 or 1969, back in the 70s and 80s, they used to had a black man that run the show. Actually, at that time, that was Sesame Street was one of the few shows that I didn't know about. Was the only show that had a lot of like colored people on it. Besides like black people, they would also have like a Hispanic cast members and Asian cast members. They did have like some white cast members too, and a lot of white guests though at the time when Sesame Street or even like the Muppet Show were becoming successful. But anywho, Mad TV, in my opinion, to this day, is still the funniest sketch show I've ever watched. There were just some scenes that just made me laugh so hard. Even like when it came to like physical comedy, it was killer. Especially like when Will Sasso was so sorry Sasso, he was so funny in physical comedy. To me, he was more like better at physical comedy than what's his name that was on Saturday Night Live, but he died back in like 1998 or 1997 from a drug overdose. Chris Farley. Like I get it that Chris Farley was huge and he was a funny guy, but Chris Farley never really made me laugh that much. I like his movies though, like the Dream movies he did that were kind of funny, including like when he was in Billy Madison with his best friend Adam Sandler though. So that was a very funny movie though. But Chris Farley to me was not really that funny in general in real life. I always thought he was kind of corny on Saturday Night Live, but people just loved the guy because he was just this huge dude. He was this huge guy. And when he went so ape, he would, just, break tables and stuff like that. I guess it was funny to the general public, but like somebody like me, I didn't think it was all that funny. To me, like when Will Sasso did something like that, it was more hilarious, especially when he played like, when he was poking fun of certain people like Kenny Rogers or Steven Seagal, though. Ah, that was too funny right there. Yeah, no, to me, that's why I prefer more like Mad TV than Saturday Night Live. To me, Mad TV would always be better than Saturday Night Live right there.